the present structure is not fetching you result, your estimated sales, your estimated productivity is not reached, then there is an obvious necessity for a change that has to be implemented. Are happy with the present structure. Now the new change is asking them to switch from present structure to some other structure. So they don't want it to happen. So they will resist. Change cannot be implemented overnight. There has to be a series of changes that take place over a period of few months. That is 5 to 6 months. Hello everyone, this is Purna Chandra, Faculty, Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram, the Temple of Excellence. So we are dealing with the subject organizational behavior for 3rd Sem B.Ba, and today will be your last session in Unit 3, that is Session 3, and the name of the chapter which we are dealing is Change Management. So to recap, in the previous class we understood theories of planned change. So there were two theories. One is your action research model, which we understood, and the another one was your Kurt-Levin's change model. So in today's class, what we'll be understanding is factors influencing change, resistance to change and how to overcome it, empowering people to manage change, and activities contributing to effective change management. So with these topics, we will be winding up with your Unit 3. So we will start. So first, factors influencing change. So basically you have to understand two things, two factors that influence change of people inside the organization. The first one is your external factors. There are a lot of external factors which alter the behavior of people, and also internal factors that influences change within an organization. So we will understand. So first we will deal with your external factors. So we will understand what is the nature of external factors that will influence change. So here, external environment affects the organization both directly and indirectly. So external environment means your technological environment, marketing environment, or your socio-cultural environment, or your economic environment, political, legal environment. So these environment are not inside the organization, they are outside the organization, but will impact the organization. So they will impact both directly as well as indirectly. So next, organization cannot change the environment but must themselves align with the environment. So because environment is outside the organization, organization cannot alter the environment, but what organization can do is it can bring certain changes in order to align with those external environment. So next, external factors. There are a lot of external factors. We'll understand one by one. The first one is technology. So how does technology influence change? So here, adoption of the following have a significant impact on organization. For example, computers. So you're replacing employees with computers. So before there were 50 employees and you have replaced those 50 employees by 5 computers. So they resist. Then telecommunication systems. So now everything is in the form of optic fibers, where you get your mobile data and you can easily transfer any kind of data like images, videos through your online portals like your WhatsApp, etc. So that is telecommunication system. Flexible manufacturing operations. So when there is introduction of these elements in technological field, people will resist for these kind of change. So why people resist is they may fear that they might lose their job because of upgradation of technology. So next, marketing conditions. Marketing conditions are no more static. What is the meaning? That is, they keep on changing. Every day there is a new trend in the market. So they change because of changes in needs, desires and expectations. That is, people's need, desires and expectations change over a period of time. So what product people were liking 10 years before, they are not liking it today, and what products they might like after 10 years, no one knows. So it is very important that you know the market conditions. That is the meaning. So next, social changes, how it influence change. So here, a lot of social changes exist due to spread of education, knowledge, and government efforts. So government are putting a lot of efforts and they have brought about a lot of social changes. So social equality, like equal opportunity to women, equal pay for both women and men has posed a new challenge. So what does this mean? Now women folk are also asking the same salary as men, unlike before. Before there was a different pay for men and there was a different pay for women. So this is a social factor that is a challenge for organization. Now they will have to give equal pay for both men and women. So this is a social factor. Then political factors. If the political situation in any country is not stable, what happens? There is no foreign direct investments or foreign companies will not come in that country. So that is also a factor that will influence the change. So when political parties are favoring business or favoring certain industrialists, they can invest money. Suppose they are not favoring, they are putting harsh rules and regulations, very high cost of getting license, they will not invest. This is the political factors. So next, internal factors. So now external is done, internal, nature of the workforce. So what is the meaning of nature of the workforce? Means workforce behavior will either be positive or it will be negative. If it is positive, everything is good. If it is negative, then there is a necessity for a change. Next, change in managerial personnel. That is, if the top level manager is changed, a new manager comes. So what he does is, he comes out with new plans, new strategies, new rules and regulations. So to abide by these new plan, you will have to change. So that is change in managerial personnel. Deficiencies in existing management structure. Suppose the present structure is not fetching you result. Your estimated sales, your estimated productivity is not reached. Then there is an obvious necessity for a change that has to be implemented. To avoid developing inertia. What is the meaning of inertia? Means you're being inflexible. So you want workers to be flexible to work whatever work that is allotted to them, whether it is finance related work, marketing work, or your production work. They should be flexible to do any kind of work. So you need change. So here you want to avoid that inflexibility and you want to make them flexible. That is the meaning. So next we go to the topic resistance to change. Suppose the organization wants to bring about a change. It is not an easy procedure. There will be resistance to change. We will understand how. So following are the different resistance to change. There are different kinds of resistance inside the organization. One is individual resistance. Second one is your group resistance. And the last one is organizational resistance. So we'll deal one by one. So next, first is your individual resistance. We'll understand. First one is economic factors. So now for example, you are upgrading to a new technology. Because of upgradation of new technology, the workload of an employee is reduced. As a result of that, his salary is also reduced. Now, for example, he was getting 20,000 before. Now it is reduced to 15,000. So obviously, he will resist because his salary has come down. So this is an example of economic factor. Next, habits. So people are doing the same task over and over again and they have developed an habit. So from many years they are doing the same job and they have developed a similar habit. Now they are asked to do some other work. So now their habits will be broken. So they will resist because new work means again they have to learn how to do the work, which is very tedious. So they resist change. So next, insecurity. What is the meaning of insecurity? That is, They fear that if they upgrade to the latest changes in technology, they might lose their job. There's an insecure feeling that they will lose their job. So they will resist. Then lack of communication opportunity. That is, if the individuals inside the organization are not given chance to express their ideas or any opinions, what happens? They will resist. That is the meaning. Extent of change. So now a new change has been implemented. If it is very less, the extent of change is very less, resistance is less. If the extent of change is very more, that is, the entire structure, strategy, policies are to be changed, then the resistance will be more. That is the meaning. Psychological factors, that is, organization means thousands of people with different behavior. They'll be having different kind of psychology. So the change implemented might not be liked by certain individuals, so they resist. Then social factors. If the change that has been implemented is hurting the social and cultural sentiments of any individuals, they will resist. This is regarding your individual resistance. So next we go for group resistance. So most organizational changes impact on informal groups in the organization. So obviously informal groups means inside the formal organization there is an informal group, that is group of friends inside the organization, group of people who sit together, they talk some casual stuff. So that is the meaning. Group resist change means they fear that their cohesiveness or existence is threatened. That is, they have been friends for so many long years. Now the new change that has been implemented, they are breaking that bond, that group bond, and they are asked to work in different departments. So what is happening? They think that their friendship is threatened, and cohesiveness, they are having liking for each other. So in order to safeguard their friendship, they will resist the new change that will be implemented. This is particularly true in case of groups which are very cohesive. Very cohesive means, for example, there's a group of 10 people. They have been in the same group for more than 10 years and they are like brothers and sisters and friends, and all of a sudden the new change is asking them to depart, work in different groups. Then what happens? It will be very true in case of group which are very cohesive. That means they will definitely resist the new change that has been put forward. That is the meaning. So organizational resistance. So now we are done with the group. We go for the organization resistance. So change is resisted at the level of the organization. So here at the level of the organization only change is resisted. We will understand how. So here reasons for organization resistance are as follows. Threat to power. For example, there is departmental heads like marketing manager, financial manager and production manager. Now if the new change that is going to be put forward or implemented, there is any threat to their power, that is they will be taken out from the authority of the manager head and they have to work as a normal employee. There is a threat to their power, so they will resist. Next, group inertia, that is inflexibility is there. They don't want that inflexibility to be squashed. They don't want to work in a flexible way. So what happens? They will resist. Organization structure, that is the present workers or employees are happy with the present structure. Now the new change is asking them to switch from present structure to some other structure. So they don't want it to happen. So they will resist. Threat to specialization. What is the meaning of this? So we'll consider two departments, finance and marketing. So workers working in the finance department are specialized in finance. Workers working or employees working in marketing department are specialized with marketing. So now if you are swapping or if you are relocating employees, that is if you are asking workers in the finance to work in marketing and if you are asking workers in the marketing department to work in finance, what happens? There is a threat to their specialization. So they will resist any such changes in the working pattern. Next, resource constraints. Suppose the allocation of resource is not proper as per the new changes made. That is, raw materials are not provided in sufficient quantities. They will resist. Next, wastage of investment. What is the meaning of this? So now you have invested in a particular project, and after 2 months, there is a change in the entire functioning of the organization. Now what happens? What investment you have made will be wasted. So to safeguard that investment, you will resist to the change that will be implemented. That is the meaning. So next, examples of resistance to change. So there are two main examples: implicit defensive behavior and overt defensive behavior. So we will understand them one by one. So implicit defensive behavior is loss of loyalty. That is, there's a new change implemented which the workers don't like. They are very fed up of the new change that has been implemented. So they lose loyalty towards the organization. They are no more loyal. Next, loss of motivation, because employees in the latest changes that has been made, the rules, regulations, structure, strategies, they don't like to work. Obviously, they are demotivated. They lose motivation and there is loss of motivation and they don't work well. Just for the sake of salary, they come, work and they go. Next, persistent reduction in output. So when there is no motivation, you are not interested in work, what happens is, obviously there will be reduction in the output. Previous year they might have produced 1000 units. This year it will be reduced to 900 units, 850 units, etc. That is persistent reduction in output because of resistance to change. Next, excessive absenteeism. What is the meaning? The new change is very strict. You are made to work overtime. You are not happy with the new changes. You are not motivated. You are not loyal. And you tend to take more leave. That is excessive absenteeism, because you are not interested in work. Just for the salary purpose, you will come and you go. And in return, there is a lot of absentees. Increase in errors. That is, when you are not motivated, you are not interested to work. When you are not interested to work, there will be a lot of errors. Because when you are motivated, when you are influenced, you work well. When you work well, there will be less number of errors. Here it is the other way around. You are not motivated means you are not interested. When you are not interested, obviously there will be more number of errors. This is the meaning. So next, overt defensive behavior. We will understand. Civil disobedience. That is, the new change is very shrewd. It is not according to the welfare of the employees. So they don't follow any rules, any laws. That is civil disobedience. They don't come to work. They are not following any rules that has been made, any policy, procedure, everything they are not accepting. That is civil disobedience. In this form, they resist. Then strikes, they go for strikes. That is 15 days, 20 days, they go for strikes, they don't work. So when they don't work, operations will not happen, process will not take place, and there is no output. That is one more resistance. Slow down of work. So intentionally they slow down the work. Suppose they are given some target for a month. The target is 10,000 and intentionally they don't meet the target. They only produce 5,000 or 6,000 products. This is to show their resistance to change. That is slow down of work. This is overt defensive behavior. So next, overcoming resistance to change. So how do you overcome these resistance to change? So here at the individual level and at the group level. So we will understand this. So here, overcoming resistance to change. First we will understand at the individual level. How do you overcome? Participation and involvement. So each and every individual who are exhibiting their resistance should be given participation in the management. They should be allowed to take part or involve, that is involvement in the decision making process. Their ideas, opinions have to be considered. So in this way you can overcome their resistance. Then effective communication, that is you should allow them to speak up. The individuals inside the organization, you should allow them to communicate freely without any hindrance or barriers. So in that way also you can resist. Felicitation and support, that is if any worker is working well, you felicitate them with some prize or bonus, incentives or anything, so that they feel happy and get motivated. And you should give them moral support. So when moral support is there, they tend to come down regarding their resistance. Leadership, and if you find any leadership qualities in the individuals inside the organization, you give them a role of a leader so that their resistance can be reduced. Then negotiation and agreement, that is, suppose group of 10 people are showing resistance, you call them, you speak to them regarding their demands, let them put forward their demands, then you can negotiate regarding those demands, make a deal, make an agreement and make them happy in return. You fulfill their demands by negotiating and you can reduce their resistance. That is the meaning. Manipulation and co-optation means, for example, certain workers, they're not happy with the rules and regulations. So you can talk to them and you can manipulate those rules, regulations, policies, strategies, and you can co-opt it so that their resistance will come down and they are also happy. Coercion. So if there is any kind of coercion, means conflict or a hostile feeling between the managers or subordinates or employees or top management, you can sort it out and reduce the resistance. And timing of change. So for example, change cannot be implemented overnight. There has to be a series of changes that take place over a period of few months, that is 5 to 6 months. So you should be cautious regarding the timing of change. If you implement the change overnight, obviously there will be resistance. So you should implement it slowly over a period of 6 months to 1 year. That is the meaning. So next is at the group level, both change agent and people should target for change. So change agent is a manager and people should target for change. That is, both should have a motive inside their head that there should be a change that has to be brought about for the betterment of the organization. So here, when there is more cohesiveness, change is easier. So cohesiveness means inside the organization, the individuals have liking for each other. So when there is more liking for each other, they can be convinced very easily and the new change can be made very easily. That is the meaning. Change is easier when the group is more attractive to its members. So when the group is doing well, it is very attractive. Bringing about a change in that group is very easy. So next, change can also be implemented by exerting more pressure on members who are responsible for group attractiveness. That is, for example, group is headed by 1 or 2 leaders. So you convince those leaders regarding the change. They will speak to the other members and you can implement the change. Next, the degree of prestige of a group also influence the change process. So if there is a good degree of prestige of the group, you can speak to them in a dignified way and you can implement the change. That is the meaning. Attempt to deviate the group norms should not be done. So group norms means every group will have certain set of norms which they follow. Norms means any practice or rules that they follow. So when you are bringing a change, you should never try to deviate the group norms. That is, the norms inside the group. If you try to deviate, obviously that group will show more resistance. So you don't deviate the group norms, the group will take your changes in the future. That is the meaning. Next, basic steps in change process. What is the basic steps in change process? That is planning for a change. You plan for a change. You come out with what changes you want, structure, strategy, etc., policies, procedure. Then after that, assessing the change force. That is, you assess how you can implement that change. In what way you can bring about the change. Then implement the change. That is, after assessment, what are the change factors you want to bring about? You implement in the change. That is the meaning. So next, empowering people to manage change. What is the meaning of this? So establish the meaningful purpose. That is, you tell them the meaning, why you are implementing the change, what was the problem before, For what purpose you are coming out with the change. So when you make people understand regarding the meaningful purpose of the change, you can enforce it better. Show them that you care. That means, what is the main reason why you are changing, why you are bringing about a change inside the organization is for the betterment of the organization. So that means you are caring for the organization. That is, show that you care. Create a culture of empowerment. You create a culture of empowerment. You tell them that by changing inside the organization, by implementing the new changes inside the organization, how the people inside the organization will be empowered. So when you explain this, they will accept the change. Next, model strong leadership. That is, you show them that by implementing new changes, how you can become a leader. In what way you can become a leader, so that they take the new implemented change in a positive way. So next, activities contributing to effective change management. So here, motivating change. So obviously, you have to motivate the people and you have to bring about the change. So next, creating a vision. That is, inside the organization, each and every individual should be given a vision. That is, they should be able to foresee themselves in future as a result of change that is taking place today. So that is creating a vision. Developing political support. So you also have to develop political support so that whatever changes you are bringing now should not be discarded or hampered in future. Next, managing transition. So transition means change from one form to another. So when your transition process is inside your organization, it's taking place inside the organization, you will have to manage it well, because each and every steps become very important. When you are aligning your organization from previous activity structure to the present structure, sustaining momentum. That is, once the change has been implemented, you should make sure that it is sustained for a long period of time in a same force. That is, sustaining momentum. So this is regarding activities contributing to effective change management. So in the next class, what we will be understanding is, we will be starting the 4th unit, that is organizational development. Thank you.